Hello, welcome to the channel. In today's lesson, we want to be explaining who, whom, whose, and whose. The first whose is W-H-O-S-E. The second whose is W-H-O''S. Who, W-H-O, is an interrogative or relative pronoun used in the subject position. Whom is an interrogative or relative pronoun used in the object position. Whose, W-H-O-S-E, is an interrogative or relative pronoun used in the possessive position. Whose, W-H-O''S, is a contracted form of who is. The first one, W-H-O, is a subjective interrogative or relative pronoun. Take note, a subjective interrogative or relative pronoun. The second one, whom, is an objective interrogative or relative pronoun. Next one, whose, W-H-O-S-E, is a possessive interrogative or relative pronoun. And whose, W-H-O''S, is the combination of who and is, that is is, who is, then we say whose. Looking at the first three words, who, whom, and whose, we realize that they all are interrogative or relative. Depends on the way we use them in the sentence that determines whether they are interrogative or relative. And since they are all either interrogative or relative, the next question is, in what way are they different from one another? Fine. The first one, who, is subjective in nature. That is, it is used in the subject position. Whom is objective. It is used in the object position. While whose, W-H-O-S-E, is possessive. It is used in the possessive case. Here on the next screen, we shall begin to examine each of these words one after the other. Just before we do that, let me quickly remind you to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, like this video and share. Back to the class. First one, W-H-O, who. Who is usually placed before the verb, so it acts as the subject of the verb. It can be placed after a noun or a pronoun when it is used to introduce a relative clause. Example here will shed more light to this. Who is that young lady in a brown gown? In this case, who is used as an interrogative pronoun because it is used to ask a question. So whenever any of these pronouns are used to ask questions, they are used as interrogative pronouns. But whenever they are used to introduce a relative clause, they are used as a relative pronoun. Example B. The man who helped you is a soldier. In this case, who is used as a relative pronoun because it is used to introduce the relative clause, who helped you. In example C, who will bail the cat? This is a popular idiom in English. Who will bail the cat? In this case, who is used as an interrogative pronoun. Example D says, I know a little boy who can drive a lorry. In this case, who is used as a relative pronoun. It introduces the relative clause, who can drive a lorry. On this page, we shall be explaining whom, W-H-O-M. Whom usually comes before another pronoun and a verb. This another pronoun is the subject of the clause, while whom is still the object, even though it occurs before the verb or the preposition in the arrangement. Let's see example E. The lady whom I spoke about is a comedian. If you look at this structure, whom comes before the pronoun I, comes before the verb spoke, comes before the preposition about. Yet, whom is the object of about. So even though whom may come before all this, it will still be the object of either the verb or the preposition. So in this case, whom is a relative pronoun because it introduces the relative clause whom I spoke about, and it is the object of the preposition about. Example F. The John whom I know would not steal. So in this case, whom I know. Whom comes before the pronoun I, it comes before the verb know, yet it is the object of the verb know. In example G, we have the sentence, whom are you traveling with? Whom in this case is interrogative because we use it to ask a question, and it is the object of the preposition with. Even though it comes before the preposition, yet it is still the object. Whom may come after a verb or a preposition, as in example H. To whom it may concern. Example I is a conversation between speaker A and speaker B. Obviously, in speaker B's response, we can see that whom comes after the verb see. Let's note this, it is very important. Who does not usually come after a preposition. Now to the next on the list, whose. W-H-O-S-E. Whose is usually used before a noun. Example J, whose bag are you holding? So in this case, it is interrogative in nature. So it would be right for us to describe whose in example J as possessive interrogative. In example K, the girl whose purse was missing cried bitterly. In this case, whose is a relative pronoun because it introduces the relative clause whose purse was missing. So adding to the fact that whose in example K is possessive, it is also relative. So we can say it is possessive relative. Now to the last on the list, whose. W-H-O''S. Whose is the contracted form of who is. Example L. Who is at the door can be contracted as in example M. Who's at the door. So instead of saying who is, we say who's at the door. So whose, W-H-O' is the contracted form of who is. So we have come to the end of the lesson. Remember to subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. I have this Jamb past question, just 2 of them relating to the topic we just discussed. Check them out and try to answer the question. So, see you another time. Bye-bye.